Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to another Rise of Mordor battle as we pit Harad up against the Men of Dale on this awesome custom map. So this custom map is very much meant to be played kind of in a head-to-head component where you both start on either side, and it's kind of very much a rush for the city, a rush for these capture points on the side, and basically just seeing what you can get done. However, in today's battle I wanted to create more of a scenario more than anything else, so because of that we are sticking the Men of Dale inside the city. They're forming up in this once great fortress and they're going to be trying to beat back the forces of Harad. Both sides are going to be fighting over this camp, however, over to the left hand side, which should be fun. And if you guys want to see me do maybe a 2 vs 2 or something on this map where both sides just rush for the center straight away and we don't have this kind of pre-set up forces, then do let me know in the comments down below and I'll be happy to do it, and obviously by dropping a like on the video. We're also using the Rise of Mordor mod, which adds in a bunch of units for factions that maybe don't have a full roster yet, as Rise of Mordor are still working. So it's unofficial units which kind of use a mix of Attila and Rise of Mordor assets just to kind of fill out these units, and I think it does a good job, you know, because a lot of these units could definitely be in the Harad fortress, you know, army roster and stuff like that. We do have some of these awesome looking alligator warriors, which are kind of like the Egyptian units. They have like a falcon and stuff. It's just kind of quite, you know, creative and nice, and it makes the battles feel a lot better and a lot more, I guess, packed with units. So Harad are going to be pushing up the hill. It's going to be a tiresome task, but I'm sure they can do it. And then the Men of Dale all the way up here are going to be holding the line. They have some pretty nice Dalian swordsmen. You can see them right here. These soldiers are really strong. We have men back here which are going to be like rangers and stuff. We have barding sharpshooters. These guys are super deadly, especially if they can get up here. I wonder if they can aim down here and hit into the hill. That'd be pretty intense if they can. Then we also have the elite barding swordsmen with these huge ass falcon swords, which are just going to be doing so much damage to the enemy infantry if they get stuck in. So let's just go ahead and say, okay, start attacking, and just basically letting him move up, because it's going to take the players in my Discord a little bit of time to make their way up the hill anyway. So, you know, we should definitely send these guys up because it's a huge hill for Harad to march up. It's going to be slow, it's going to be, you know, cumbersome, but luckily Harad are mainly made up of a lot of light infantry, so they can make their way up the hill very quickly and start doing some damage to the bardings. You know, as I said, it's going to take them a little while. I mean, just look at that, but once they do get up here, they're going to be doing a ton. I'm just nervous whether or not the forces of Harad can push through and break through these positions, because these archers, you know, the Lake Town archers, who do just look so, I mean, just look at that. It just looks bloody amazing, doesn't it? Look at that. That looks like something else right there. And the cool thing is as well, but the default like Eastern Attila buildings actually do look pretty goddamn deep, like you know, Dale units and stuff, or Dale buildings, which is actually just really cool, because you can actually kind of almost you know, kind of picture this in the Lord of the Rings universe. So we're going to be seeing the forces over on the right hand side of Dale just marching forward. These guys are going to be making a quick rush to the camp. The quicker anyone takes the camp, the better it's going to be. It's going to give them the fortified position and also that much needed capture point. See their infantry just marching forward, looking so goddamn clean. All the custom assets they've added into Rise of Mordor is just really amazing. I mean, just even look at the detail on the chest pieces right there. It's very nice. And we're also going to be seeing Harad moving up over here as well. They've brought a lot of these heavy spearmen, some lightly armoured swords. I mean, this battle could be completely one-sided and the forces of Dale just absolutely slaughter Harad. However, we have tried our best to make Dale a little bit underpowered. We gave him 5,000 gold less, I think, out of like 30 to 40,000 funds. This camp is going to be really cool to fight over. You have these kind of defensive barricades which you can set archers up on and basically just cover the central point really nicely. How's these forces over here doing? Pretty okay at the moment, actually. They are simply just making their way up. I'm hoping, yeah, nice, because they're just walking, they're not losing any energy, which is good. because running up this hill could be very, very exhausting. And I really hope there are fights over like the side parts of the villages as well. I think that'd be really, really exciting. So over here on the right hand side, we do have the forces of Dale formed up now. I'm surprised they're not going to be moving into the city. They're probably going to be moving into the camp very, very quickly. In a second once they're formed up, probably just letting Harad get a little bit closer and closer, because as I said, like these defensive points right here will just give perfect vision. I mean, just look at that. You can just about see the Harad forces moving closer and closer to the custom setup right here. Lots of really cool defensive positions. This just looks really, really cool. I like it a lot, the way the amount of like defenses and stuff are set up. So hopefully this modder does continue to make more and more maps, because this is really, really cool. So one of the things that Harad does have on their side, besides these goddamn camel riders, which look hilarious, we also have these artillery pieces as well. And the artillery pieces will be very effective at opening up other breaches, because all of these parts of these walls and stuff are actually pretty derelict to begin with. You can see this one's 80%, so that's going to take one shot to take down. A lot of these side pieces as well, where you can probably make your way around, will open up another breach point. You can also obviously bombard the defensive forces inside the city. We can see that Harad do actually have the advantage when it does come to manpower right now. They have over 1,000 more soldiers in this battle than the men of Dale, but obviously the men of Dale have the defensive positions, so they're going to be using that quite effectively, I am sure. They're already pushing into the city now with some infantry. We have the Dalian spearmen on this left flank. Other infantry also being brought up, more spearmen. So there's actually a great opportunity for Harad to cut through these guys. These are spearmen, so the swordsmen of Harad will be doing great. Obviously there's a lot of these marines ready to reinforce whenever the time does come. Luckily not quite yet though. These guys are set up. We've got more reinforcements rushing forward. There's some of the skirmisher forces as well, as the capture point is being fully fought over right now. Harad are pushing up their skirmishers. Yeah, they need to get their archers up on this hill. And I imagine the archer force will start shooting very, very quickly. This is awesome, man. Doesn't actually look like as well that Dale brought up any long-range archers whatsoever in this battle. So this would give the Harad the range advantage down on the left flank. And if they just start opening up, they can do plenty of damage. The other infantry are slowly still making their way up this huge hill. I mean, what can you do? You can't exactly blame them. Going to be a fight back and forth for these forces. It does look like the infantry is being sent up. Oh, but the archers, there are archers here, and look how many casualties these guys are taking straight off the bat as they just come flying in to the beautiful setup Dalian shield wall right here. Does not look like it's going to budge. I mean, it's all going to clash now. I mean, I'm not like hopeful for these units of Harad, because I know these guys aren't very good. Even though they are swordsmen, they're lightly armored, poorly trained. And if, for example, these javelin men can really get stuck in, I mean, just look at the damage they're already doing to this infantry. Harad need to really push up the pressure now, try and use their cavalry to their advantage, because they have a lot of it on the either flank. They have the archers over here as well who've set up. Yeah, they need to try and use their cavalry to the best of their ability, because if them camels can really do the damage, then they'll be really well off, because they can just kind of envelop the rest of Dale. Because Dale has definitely put down a weaker force over on this side of the battlefield. So if Harad can use that to their advantage, then they'll be really well off. Especially now they've got the alligator riders up here. That's going to push up some shipmen into the fight as well to try and reinforce the Dale swordsmen. Yeah, and as you can see right there, the basic Harad soldiers won't be enough to break this. However, we do have now some more elite Harad spearmen. The spears of the serpent being pushed up, and also the camel riders over here on the left flank as well. It's actually really, really good, because the camel riders over here are going to be doing great against the horses. Camels get a bonus attack against horses, or at least a fear attack. However, oh my god, look how much bigger the camel is. Oh my god, these guys are goddamn giants. I mean that's a stupid thing to say. Of course camels are, like, I knew camels were much larger than horses, but I don't know, maybe it looks pretty crazy seeing it up close like this. I guess it's the soldiers look a lot bigger as well. Yeah, it's the people. These are mammoth men right here. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just because they're so much higher on the camel. I don't know. It's a little bit weird. How's the fight over here in the city going? Is it kicked off yet? No, I believe the artillery is probably just forming up. We're going to be getting the advancement now as they come over the hill. That's pretty cool. We're just coming over the hill, ready to see. You know, these Harad have just been told to march up the hill, and no matter what is up there, you will fight. Seeing the Dale swordsman just form up shield wall is absolutely awesome. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some artillery flying in now, opening up more breaches. We do also have some swordsmen here as well. Just waiting. These derelict gates are going to be held by this division of infantry right there. Going back though to the main fight, we can see that the alligator warriors are trying their best just to cut their way through the shipmen and the spearmen. We've also got some support from the spears of the serpent there. The archers are just minding their business, ready to unleash their volley on whatever's back there. How's the cavalry fight going? Did the camels... Don't really know who's winning this. Who is coming out on top? It does look like the camels are actually getting slaughtered right now by the heavy cavalry. Oh my god. This is going to be disastrous for the men of Harad. Them camels did not stand a chance against the heavy cavalry whatsoever of Dale, which is really surprising. I thought they were going to do much better than they did right there. And they even have a spare unit back here as well, ready to send in. And this is going to be disastrous, because now all this Dale cavalry can come round, enter into this huge plain, and just start hitting a lot of the infantry back here. It looks like the spears of the serpent are breaking through these basic spearmen. And obviously over here as well, the alligator warriors are doing a great job at slaughtering these Dalian spearmen. But elsewhere on the battlefield, it's looking a little bit shaky for Harad. They've got to really hope that they can break through in the city. Use that artillery piece to destroy the walls and stuff would be really, really useful. We do actually have some spearmen being brought up, or some, I guess, more pikemen right here. A few javelins being chucked in. But the men of Harad are being broken back again. We do have a lot of archer fire right here. Oh my god, this unit of Lake Town Watch actually have a bow and a sword and shield. That's actually really, really strong right there. Lots of archers who can continue to shoot in and, you know, just put down a lot of pressure on the enemy. We do actually have a unit of spearmen over here. This is a nice position by Harad, making their way over to the left flank, basically just to cut it off and stop the cavalry from dominating the battlefield. You can see them pulling back right now. There's a few archers back there, but it does look like the archers have been slaughtered. We do finally have some cavalry as well, which are rushing their way over. This cavalry really needed to be over in this side of the battlefield. They've been moving since the beginning. And, I mean, I just can't believe how quickly them camels got slaughtered there. So the center point right here is looking really good for Harad, but I think it's only going to be a matter of time. Now we actually do have some barding swordsmen making their way up as well. Eventually they are going to be broken back, and yeah, I just don't think Harad have brought enough firepower to dominate Dale in this battle. Dale had some really strong archers and some heavy ass infantry, and as Harad is one of the factions which just don't really get the extra additional bonuses, then you know, they are not fully developed by Rise of Mordor yet, so the balancing is going to be a little bit off. Nice artillery is now coming into the city though, going to set it ablaze. See if there's any big hits right there. Doesn't look like it. You can use the artillery as well. I might actually just tell them they can use the artillery. Oh, that's a direct hit right there, burning a lot of them. And I'm just going to tell them use artillery to destroy walls. Because that way they can then go ahead and break through in more open positions, you know. If they do open up more of the siege point and stuff, then that could be really useful as well. Another artillery volley coming in. It does look like that Harad are going to be trying to focus down this archer unit, which I mean is a very, very strong unit of bardings. They're expensive as hell. But if they use artillery, maybe break down like one of these damaged walls or something, they could open up an entire new position for them to come through and actually attack the Dalian swordsmen. Over on the left-hand side, we do actually have the spearmen who have been engaged upon right now by the dismounted swordsmen. Really smart right here. Dismounting the swordsmen will allow them to fight on foot much more effectively and not get countered so heavily by the spearmen. But Harad are just breaking. They just don't have enough men to break forward. Even over here, it would just be kind of cool to see what this unit of bardings fights like as well then. Huge weaponry. smacking away. Some dudes are going down. Plenty more reinforcements turning up. Is that cavalry? Cavalry has finally turned up. How did it fare though? It does look like much more of a more harassment-y cavalry. Yeah, Italian cavalry is just unbreakable. That is ridiculous. Really, really strong. Nice. Harad have now pushed their way into the city now, trying to put up a famous last stand. Balance power has shifted back even, but both sides still have very much a opportunity to win this battle. I like some of the really cool designs as well on the faces. You know, dudes having grey beards and stuff. It does always look very, very cool. Especially as they bring in more and more reinforcements as well, which will just aid them. A lot of these Spears of the Serpent, they're not great kind of punching units, which will break through formations, but they're good just to have nonetheless. A lot of archer fire as well coming in. I believe these guys are going to be forming defensive Teshudo probably very, very soon. If not, just get committed once again to the fight itself. More reinforcements turning up. That's a pretty badass battle line right there. Look at that. Oh, baby. You just have the infantry and we get lots of crotch shots right there. So I really hope people continue to make maps like this, because honestly, like, these things are so much fun to do, and there's just so many like different scenarios I can do. One of the reasons I kind of stopped doing a lot of Rise of Mordor on the channel was just because there wasn't enough like new content. Obviously people are really busy this time of year with like school studies and work and stuff, so you know, modding definitely slowed down, and that meant I couldn't really create unique and interesting content. And I didn't want to just make, you know, I didn't want to just make kind of like the basic, like, oh, this is just another land battle with the same factions over and over again, and then it get really stale. I wanted to kind of keep up making these fun and interesting battles, which are different, and every time you click on one, it's not just going to be the same thing over and over again, you know. The cavalry's coming in now and just punching a hole through these Harad units right now. Yeah, more cavalry turning up. Harad have been absolutely smashed on this left-hand side. And now we're going to see the fruits of Dale's labour as they push around this cavalry, looking for blood. And I imagine, yeah, they're going to be going directly into the backs of these alligator warriors. Especially now I've got swordsmen in the front as well, pushing heavily. Harad's going to be completely broken on this right hand side. Yeah, you can see it right there, and the balance of power is starting to shift in favour of Dale. So maybe we will have to return to this with a 2 vs 2 large army, so we'll have about 10,000 soldiers all making their way in, and both sides will just kind of start off and it'll be a rush to the city centre, because that's kind of how I assume a map is meant to be played. What is how the map is meant to be played, having these two sides on either side and everyone rushing to the centre and all these different capture points. But I just didn't have enough people to really make that a reality, and it just saves us for another battle as well. We can do, you know, a 4 vs 4, good versus evil, Gondor and Dale up against, I don't know, Isengard and Dunland or something. Or maybe Isengard and the Easterlings. And we're going to have a proper rush for the centre, so both teams should meet the city centre at the same time, down in the camp at the same time, and as I said, 10,000 units would just be like truly epic. So if you want to see that, guys, do let me know in the comments down below, and obviously by dropping that bad boy like really does help out the channel. More reinforcements, more archers being brought into the fight. That is brutal, that really is. Just love the look. Like these derelict Dale buildings look very cool. They really do. More reinforcements fighting here as well. The nice thing is now, if they want to, they can actually reinforce with more infantry as well from the camp down in the bottom, if they wanted to send more soldiers up here. Lots of archer fire flying their way over the battlefield as Harad do try and get closer and closer. Beautiful looking battle scenes right here. As they continue, they're just cutting these guys down. No mercy right now. The lightly armoured units of Harad are basically just spent. I think that's going to be them routing as well. There's more and more reinforcements here. You can see they're really starting to close in now on this side little group. A few extra spearmen, lots of arrow fire though coming in as well. But yeah, they're just moving in more and more soldiers into the fray, hoping just to finish these guys off once and for all. The arrow fire is still, you know, racking up a decent amount of kills. There's also a lot of friendly fire over on this left-hand side as well. Yeah, this is a pure archer off right now as the infantry just tries to keep their lines at bay. But I mean, I'm saying that, like, a lot of these Dalian soldiers are actually going down to the forces of Harad, so... bravely fighting on. We look at the balance of power. How's it looking for Harad? Not very good whatsoever. We also got some camel riders up. Oh, the general for Harad have actually made their way into the city somehow. They're actually going to be coming in and recharging into the back of these infantrymen. That's going to be scaring them as well. That's going to be brutal, but I mean, yeah, there's just no Harad infantry left whatsoever. Battle is looking very much like a Dale win. The rest of the Dale reinforcements are moving around this right-hand flank, looking to cut the head off the serpent, literally, as the picture for Harad is a serpent, or the flag. So their cavalry, I mean, exhausted as it is going to run up here and basically just cut off. No one is going to escape this battle alive, at least on the Harad side. The rest of the infantry now also just making their way into the fray. There's still a decent amount left for Dale as well. We try to give them a bit of a disadvantage, but right now, they still have a couple units of reserve infantry just waiting to be sent up if they were needed, and it doesn't look like they were. Rest of these Harad. Oh wait, is Harad one on this right flank? No, the shipmen are just going to be chasing them down now. The Dalian swordsmen are, I should say. Right into their back. I mean, these guys are just routing anyway. Well, that was kind of a cool animation. Oh my god, look at that animation right there! He just fucking jumped him, stabbed him on the ground, slit his throat. Wow. That was out of nowhere. That was literally, he was just like a lone warrior there, charging in to the battle. The rest of the forces are routing. There is still a couple huge camels left remaining. An entire archer volley just hit these guys, killing the enemy general. They're going to be looking to come in. That's going to hurt the morale of the last units of Haradan. That should probably be all she wrote for the forces, especially now this cavalry is finally starting to make its way up here. Yeah, the battle's over. They have one unit of brave, I call them brave for sure, brave Red Snake skirmishers who are going to charge in. You coward camels, come back to the fight. These brave warriors are just going to turn around and run. They did not want to stand towards the end of that battle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It's actually really fun to go back and play more Rise of Mordor, because it's been a while since I've really dived into it. We can look at the kills though. We can see that the Dale swordsman really just doing so much damage. A couple hundred kills on these guys on each of the units. And it just wasn't really enough for Harad's infantry. They just couldn't really find that way to pierce through the heavy infantry whatsoever. The cavalry as well, just slaughtering them camels. I mean, look at that, 4 kills on this camel. What an absolute disappointment with that unit, that's for sure. And I mean, what's the highest kill? The highest kill was the general unit coming into the rear and killing them archers. And a few of the swords of the serpent did good, but still nowhere near the kills of Dale. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. That was a Pyrrhic victory for Dale. Make sure to drop a like and a comment down below if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.